All right, the next three items are items that Jim Allison has sent out to all the different commissioners in all different counties, asking for these resolutions so we can get them back to legislation before they start in 2017. We'll take these and bear with me while I read through them. And if we have any discussion, I'll try to answer the questions. Number 13, discuss, take action on opposition to appraisal caps and revenue caps. The resolution is, whereas Texas legislation has previously considered rejected proposals for additional revenue caps and additional appraisal caps on counties, and whereas 60% of the average taxpayer's property tax burden is due to school taxes, while only 14% is due to county taxes, whereas appraisal caps and revenue caps would diminish local control and tie the hands of county officials and limit their ability to provide essential services to address the needs and emergencies of their citizens, whereas the county government is already struggling to meet the demands of underfunded and unfunded state mandates such as indigent health care, indigent defense, and federal mandates such as Help Americans Vote Act and Clean Air Act. Whereas demands on the county budget continue to increase, including health care, motor fuel, road materials, and all other products and services purchased by counties. Whereas artificial appraisal caps and revenue caps will result in a shift of taxes from rapidly appreciating properties to those remaining relatively stable in value and to all non-residential properties. Whereas appraisal caps or revenue caps will not necessarily result in a reduction of property taxes, but will result in a severe impact on county services. Whereas undermining a property tax system based on fair market value is questionable public policy and will result in a distorted and inequitable taxation scheme under which identical homes could be taxed at vastly different amounts. Whereas it would be inequitable for Texas legislation to impose additional revenue caps on local governments without imposing similar caps on state governments and repealing and prohibiting state unfunded mandates. Now therefore be resolved that Commissioners Court of Somervell County does hereby express its opposition to efforts to limit local control and does hereby oppose any attempts to impose revenue caps and appraisal caps upon Texas counties. And the Commissioners Court of Somervell County, Texas expresses its deep appreciation to all legislators who oppose these unsound measures. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer. And if we would like for me to send this on down that we approved it, then I would entertain a motion. I have a motion by Larry. I have a second by Don. Any questions or comments? All in favor of said motion? It's 5 for, 0 against. Item 14, discuss, take action on opposition to unfunded mandates, which walks hand in hand with the previous one. But I'll go ahead and read them. Opposition, whereas Texas counties are responsible for the operation and management of many and various government programs as required or authorized by state law, and whereas some county government programs are fully or partially supported with funds dispersed by the state of Texas pursuant to the state appropriations process, and whereas the state of Texas, acting through the Texas legislation or through a state agency or executive order, may enact laws or promulgate rules that have the effect of imposing mandatory financial obligations upon Texas counties. And whereas the state of Texas, acting through Texas legislation or through a state agency or executive order, mandates that counties implement certain governmental programs or perform certain duties and obligations, including financial commitments by a county to expend county funds in connections therewith, and whereas during which regular session of the Texas legislature, all state funds that support county programs are reviewed through the state appropriations process and by other budgetary review systems. Whereas the aforementioned review process may result in a reduction or cessation of state financial support of county government programs, causing an unforeseeable disruption and reduction of the county budget and operations, and whereas Texas counties cannot achieve reliable financial planning and the necessary bond rating sufficient to support county-related obligations when the state mandates a new program that is not fully funded, or under conditions where the state reduces or fully withdraws prior funding and disbursements for county government programs. Now therefore, the Commissioners Court of Somervell County, Texas does hereby resolve that for foregoing reasons, it is in the best interest of Texas counties and their taxpayers to support and favor the passage of legislation in the forms of amendment to the Constitution of the state of Texas that would expressly prohibit the imposition of mandatory government program on Texas counties, whether by an act of the Texas legislature or a state agency or by executive order, unless the state of Texas has fully funded and disperse all necessary funds to enable Texas counties to operate under said government program. Any questions? I have a motion by Larry.
Second.
Have a second by Kenneth. Any questions or comments? All in favor of said motion? It's 5-4. Getting to the end. Item number 15, discuss take action on state funds for indigent criminal defense. As we well know, we fight this every single month. Whereas the right to assist by legal counsel is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, and whereas the state of Texas is required to implement the right and provide legal counsel to indigent criminal defendants, and whereas the Texas Fair Defense Act adopted by the Texas legislature in 2001 implements this right and requires certain procedures and attorney appointments, and whereas the Texas legislature has failed to provide sufficient funding to offset the cost of the Fair Defense Act and has shifted these costs to the county taxpayers, and whereas county expenditures for indigent criminal defense has increased over 100% since the adoption of the Fair Defense Act, and whereas the state funding is totally inadequate, providing approximately 12% of the indigent defense costs, and whereas indigent criminal defense is a state responsibility that should be adequately funded on a statewide basis, not a burden overwhelmingly borne by local property taxpayers. Now therefore be resolved that the Commissioners Court of Somervell County, Texas does hereby request that the Texas legislature fully fund the cost of indigent criminal defense. Any questions that I might try to answer?
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Kenneth.
Second.
I have a second by Don. Any questions or comments? All in favor of said motion? It's 5-4, 0 against. Sign those.
You know, it's interesting, looking at the expenditures this month. How much,
Yes.
on that topic.
Attorneys, jail, food, medicine, clothing.
And the term criminal is specific because it does not include anything dealing with CPS cases. We get to bear those.
Through district court.